Israel has attacked Iran, and it has everyone speculating how this might escalate things to World War III. The reason why this information is relevant to Fallout is because this is literally what happens in Fallout.
We're gonna be okay. I love you.
Oh my god!
Fallout takes place after such World War, after nukes fell all over the planet, and it completely turned the world into a post-apocalyptic wasteland, basically. And that's the premise of Fallout. So the timing of this show dropping at such a time when we are actually discussing stuff like this makes this show and the overall Fallout franchise a bit more scarier. You know, when people pick up a beloved franchise and decide to make like an adaptation, like for example The Witcher or Rings of Power or Halo, and then they decide to completely and absolutely and utterly butcher the source material. You know, I think my honest opinion is it shouldn't be legal. It should not be legal to pick up a beloved franchise and then completely desecrate it in the way that a lot of these recent adaptations have done. I think it should be punishable by law, because I see it as a type of fraud. Like, this is my honest opinion about people who fuck up precious game or book franchises. Yeah, so now contrast that with something like Fallout, a show that honors the source material and a show that captures the essence of Fallout, the show that carries the DNA of Fallout in such a magnificent way. So I kind of have a pretty long history with the Fallout games, stretching all the way back when I used to visit my friend's house, and he and his brother used to play Fallout 3. And we're talking like 2008 or 2009, around that time. And my PC at the time didn't support Fallout 3. So and those assholes would never ever let me touch Fallout 3 on their PC. So I was just left with no other option than to just watch them play. So yeah, we're not friends anymore. Later on, when I upgraded to a Fujitsu laptop, that is when I was able to install Fallout New Vegas. And that was the first time when I got to play a Fallout game for myself. This is still, we're still talking about like 2013 or 2014. We're still like a decade or so ago. And that's when I first started playing Fallout New Vegas. And I remember having an absolute blast with Fallout New Vegas. And later on, when I played Fallout 4 for the first time in 2016, after I got the GTX 750 Ti, I still have it. Here it is. Should have cleaned it before recording. But yeah, this beauty of a graphics card. I was, quite honestly, mind blown by the graphics. The reason why I was mind blown by the graphics is because I was so accustomed to the old school graphics of Fallout New Vegas that when I saw Fallout 4 with the updated graphics, it was kind of unbelievable to me, because I was playing the same the same Fallout. All the gameplay and everything is pretty much the same, but the visuals are just upgraded to such a level. Yeah, it was amazing to me at the time. So I played Fallout 4 for a while and had some fun, but then over the years I kind of forgot about it. I forgot about Fallout. I directed my attention to other games like Dark Souls. I started playing The Witcher 3 and a lot of other things, and basically, and when Fallout 76 came out, I kind of wanted to try it, but then after seeing the reviews and the ratings, and everybody started hating on the game, I never went back to playing Fallout ever since. And then this show comes out of nowhere. And it is, I gotta tell you, it is such a good show. And now that I watched this show, it was so good, it makes me want to jump right back to playing Fallout 4, right? And it was so good, in fact, that I finished the whole season in one day, and it's so addicting, and I didn't even realize how 8 hours have passed in one sitting. It was just so, I wasn't able to put it down. And it was captivating. I think the show captured the chaotic essence of Fallout perfectly. It's very gory and very visceral, and but at the same time, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's very it's very dark and dry humor. A lot of Fallout is, you realize if you play the games, it's very dark, and it's very it's very humorous. Like, it's basically, it has the feeling of almost like Rick and Morty. The comicalness of the world of Fallout is kind of like Rick and Morty in that sense. And also, if you think about Amazon, Amazon is famous for The Boys, and it's famous for Invincible, and now for Fallout. And if you think about it, all three out of three of these shows are have a lot of gore in them, and a lot of R-rated, visceral violence. And I think people have developed an appetite for stuff that has a lot of gore. Ever since Game of Thrones, I feel like people are now more into gory stuff. I don't know. It's just, there's a very clear increase in people consuming stuff that's really gory and really violent. Anyways, but so in that case, I think Fallout is a really good choice. I think next step would be to adapt a Doom movie or a Doom show, where it's just visceral demon slaying mayhem. It's just, I think that would be the perfect step for Amazon. And yeah, so it was great. The essence, the nature of Fallout was captured perfectly. The writing is masterful, especially the ending. The more you watch, the more you keep watching, I realized the more and more the writing becomes better, and towards the end, it just reaches such a level. It's just so masterfully written. The final episode is it's a masterpiece. Okay, the writing is really, really good. I think they've nailed the visuals of both pre and post-war Fallout. I think I always thought it would be easy to create the set of Fallout, since everything is just rubble and junk and just old rusty junk. And that way, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier compared to other stuff like Game of Thrones. It's not like Game of Thrones, where it's just really epic castles and stuff. But here it's just junk, But at the same time, they've nailed the post-war visuals, but they've also nailed the pre-war, because Fallout is not based in our world. It's like a alternate kind of Earth, where everything is I think the word they use is retro-futuristic. So it's a retro-futuristic world where everything looks like the 50s or the 60s, and but it's like the future imagined by the people back in the 60s. The Jetsons. You remember the cartoon, the Jetsons? I think it's kind of has that Jetsons aesthetic, and I think they nailed it perfectly. And then after the war, they show you the vaults. The vault life and the vault aesthetic and the visuals inside the vault. I think that was really spot on. This show made me more interested in all of these factions than the games themselves. I got more invested into the Vault civilization. I got more invested in the Brotherhood of Steel. I wasn't as interested in these factions when playing the game. I wasn't. So, they really focused on stuff that they really actually showed some depth when it comes to the lore, individual factions and individual people, and even the pre-war. What was the mentality of the people before the war, and what are the people actually and we all know how Bethesda games are famous or infamous for the woodenness and the clunkiness when the characters talk and their animations. We all love to make fun of like Skyrim's characters and their animation and the way they talk. People have literally made TikTok careers out of making fun of Skyrim's animation.
You try mercenary work? Might suit you. Hey! Watch it!
Something going on?
Need something? Need something? Something there? You can't hide from me! Get out! Must have been the wind. Need something?
And people love to make memes about Skyrim and other Bethesda games and their, the clunky animations and stuff. So there's this woodenness and the jankiness when it comes to the characters in Fallout. But with this show, we truly got to, I want to say, they've humanized the world and the people of Fallout. That, like, they truly brought Fallout to life. It almost feels like this is a world that is, it's like Castlevania, like how you watch Castlevania, and when you play Castlevania, it's just a 2D game with platformer stuff, and you don't really connect with the people as much. But with the show, with the 4 seasons of Castlevania, you really grow to, like, you really form a connection with the characters of Castlevania. It in a way brought Castlevania to life. You know what I mean? If you watch Castlevania, you know what I mean. And it's a similar thing with Fallout. It renewed. Not only did it renewed the interest, it also enhanced my understanding of Fallout. So yeah, so the visuals, they nailed it. The writing, they nailed it. The acting was spot on by everyone except in the beginning. I wasn't quite feeling it with Maximus's character. It's like, just in the beginning, I wasn't immediately hooked by Maximus, but eventually I grown to really, really like him as well. And towards the end, I absolutely love this guy. At the end, it's just, you will fall in love with these characters by the end. It's like, you will fall in love with Lucy, you'll fall in love with Maximus, and you will even fall in love with the ghoul. Like, in the beginning, I was like, the ghoul is really, really rude, and this guy is treating everyone like shit, especially our protagonists, Lucy and Maximus. But eventually, when you start to understand, when you start to get inside the mind of the ghoul, you kind of understand his perspective as well. So I think it's such a good, like, writing, and it's perfectly executed almost. The acting is so good. Maximus in the beginning, not as good, but eventually he gets so good that he just becomes your he just became my second favorite character by the end, right? So these are the good things. The only bad things that I can say, like I said, like Maximus in the beginning, and the other thing, in my opinion, is the fighting choreography. The choreography in the fight scenes could have been a bit better. Some of the fight scenes felt a bit flimsy, like it lacked oomph, But Fallout relies heavily on gore and comedy, like the dark, gore-focused comedy. Like, it's like, it's like Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn. The other Suicide Squad. The first one was a flop, but the second one, as a movie, I loved the Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn. and it had kind of like that kind of vibe. So when it comes to actual fighting, the choreography could have been better, but it kind of makes up with like the gore and the silliness and the absurdity. It's like it's really absurd and silly at the same time. Like while it's being dark and gory, it's also silly. Like it's hilarious. Like I don't know how to like if you watch it, you're gonna understand. Like it doesn't take itself seriously at all when when they're fighting, you know, and it's still like it somehow works. You know what I mean? It somehow works, and if you understand the way the games work, like if you understand how the gameplay works in the Fallout games, then you'll understand some of the scenes. Even like the fight scenes kind of have some things that are actually a nod to the games. Like in the games, there's a lot of slow motion kills, and also in the show there are some slow motion kills. There are some scenes where somebody shoots somebody with a pistol, and the head just explodes. You know that doesn't happen like in other movies. It doesn't happen in other places, but here it happens because it happens in the games. You know what I mean? It happens in the games because if you unlock certain skills, it makes your gunshots make people's heads and limbs explode. Like that's one of the things in the game. So that's why it happens in the show. So some of it is kind of clever, and it just somehow works. So I'm happy. So yeah, that was my overall review. If I were to give it a rating, I have to give it a. This is, in my opinion, this is a 9.5 out of 10. This is the highest. Like, this is one of the best shows that I've seen in a very long time. Okay, aside from The Boys, this is like my favorite show right now. Aside from The Boys, it's like this is like really really good. So yeah, like I said, like a small things aside from like one or two small things, this show is pretty much a masterpiece. Okay, this is the only way I can put this. This is a masterpiece. This is such a good show. So if you haven't watched Fallout, go watch it, guys. If you haven't played any Fallout games, go right ahead and check them out. Play Fallout New Vegas with mods, or play Fallout 4, but check them out. It is absolutely worth it. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this review, then subscribe to Tausify, and don't forget to drop a like and push that bell notification so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And with that being said, until next time, be good and stay Tausify.